So the task ahead of us is simple at Paris Saint-Germain. We have one season and one season alone to try and get them to the top of football, at least at club level, by winning the UEFA Champions League. What could possibly go wrong? Welcome to One and Done. Hi guys, and welcome to episode 1 of One and Done PSG. I'm StuBo. Thank you very much for joining me in this first episode. I'm very excited to get underway with something that isn't West Ham United. I've loved the West Ham save, but genuinely, it's nice to be at another club actually, and also to be at a big club as well. This is something that we don't normally do on this channel, or at least not at the moment. Well, I say that. Did do Dortmund in the end of FM21, didn't we? But I digress. You get the point that I'm making. But here we are, and I'm very excited to get underway. As you can see, we've been confirmed. Still 30 in this universe. That's nice. Oh, that money. If I could have that in real life, that'd be great. But we've lacked the reputation of a title specialist, so we have to bear that in mind. Maybe that will play against us. But 4.5-star club, so not a full 5-star, but still, that's pretty good. We were founded in 1970. I was looking at the history of Paris Saint-Germain in preparation for this. It's quite interesting how they ended up performing, actually. But as you see, there's a lot of trophies here. Won the Cup Winners' Cup, won the Ligue 1, obviously quite a bit. Also won the Coupe Charles Simon, I'm assuming that is. Coupe de la Ligue BKT. I'm assuming that's some kind of League Cup. French Division 2, I'm sure that's not one that they mention. The Trophée des Champions. And then, what are these? Champion de France Under-17, Champion French Under-18 League. Okay. They've won a few trophies, but you notice that there's not any real European ones except for that European Cup Winners' Cup, which of course is not a thing at the more. Anymore, you get my point. We've got all of the facilities. We've got a nice stadium. It's actually not as big as some of the bigger stadiums in the world, but still a nice size. And that is recommended as the best 11. Interestingly, there's no Neymar in that starting 11, which I find quite interesting. But there's a lot of good players in here. There's also some players that I think we could definitely upgrade on, if I'm being completely honest with you. One thing to note is Sergio Ramos is not going to be available immediately, so we'll have to do without him to begin with. Sign high reputation players, obviously. Play attacking football, obviously. They want us to grow the reputation of the club, increase the revenue, maintain our position as the most reputable team in France, and also work within our wage budget. Well, hopefully if I win the Champions League, they won't care about that one, because I'm planning on spending a lot of money. And just like that, here we are. We are the manager of PSG, fully confirmed. And, oh God, look at the state of that. I wonder, actually, before we start, I just want to have a quick look at this. Look at that! 29 caps, 8 goals. That's marvellous. I always have a look at this because I always set, whenever I'm playing as a manager, I always set it to what the recommended is for the level you're at. So I did that, and it's given me 29 England caps, which is delightful. 8 goals as well. I'd love to know what position I played. All of this stuff is kind of arbitrary at the moment. We want to have a look at the squad, and this is a heck of a squad. Let's sort it by current ability. Obviously, the best player at the club is going to be Lionel Messi, which is just excellent in my opinion. Morale's only okay at the moment, obviously with everything that happened with his departure from Barcelona. That is to be expected. But around him, we've also got Mbappe, we've got Neymar, we've got Ramos, who's not going to be available until October. So we do have to remember that when we're thinking about the team. Also got the likes of Marquinhos, Di Maria, Keylor Navas, Kimpembe, who's a pretty good player as well. Also, he's very important. He's a trained at club player. He is, as well as Mbappe, even though Mbappe was signed by PSG from Monaco, which I find a bit strange. But hey, I'm not going to complain. We've got a very, very good squad. So the first kind of thing we need to do is have a look at what tactic we're going to use, and then look at what gaps in the squad there are. So I'm going to have a quick look at that, and then we'll see what we need to do in the transfer window. Okay, so I've brought us back for the first league game of the season. I thought instead of just showing you each transfer individually, spoilers, there's a few of them, I thought I'd do all of the ones I wanted to do and try and get them all done before the beginning of the season, and bring you back when we've made all of them, and that's exactly what we've done. Having said that, we have already played the, I didn't want to click on that, we've already played the, is it the Trophée des Champions? I forget the name of the tournament, the thing, Trophée des Champions, the the Community Shield of France is what I'm assuming it is against Lille. As you can see, we have already won it. Couple of spoilers there for some of the transfers that we've done, but I thought, I kind of forgot about that game, but I kind of thought, let's get all of the transfers out of the way and then get to the start of the season and show you the team that we're going to be going into the season with. And the first of those transfers that we made was Anthony Martial. He is on loan from Manchester United. I think we've got an obligation to buy or an option to buy. An option to buy, there we go. £32 million at the end of the season. Obviously, that's not our problem. But he is here. We are paying a lot of money for him per week. We're not paying all of his wages, but we are paying a monthly fee as well. So, lots of money for Anthony Martial. But I think, as a backup player, I think he's going to do a job for us. He's come in as a backup striker. If we need to turn in the system to a different one that we're currently using, spoilers, we're currently not using one with wingers. Kind of narrows it down a little bit, doesn't it? In more ways than one. But we do have a player who can go out on the left and be pretty comfortable out there. So that was signing number one. Signing number two is a player who I think is a really good defender in real life and in FM as well, and that is Antonio Rudiger. I was looking at a couple of players like Milan Skriniar, Stefan de Vrij, Koulibaly. I was looking at a bunch of other players. Kounde from, I think, is it Sevilla he plays for? And Diego Carlos as well. And I was looking at all of them, and they were just all so expensive. And then Rudiger came up, and he was still expensive. I mean, we signed him for £58 million, which could go as high as £63 million. So we paid a lot of money for this guy. Most of it's on the Never on instalments, but that's not the point. But we did sign him. We're paying him a lot of money a week. It's £145,000. There's a lot of money in bonuses as well. However, none of that matters to me. We got our man, and I think he's going to make a real difference in our defence as well. The next signing and the next part of our Premier League raid was Lucas Dignier. Again, money was well spent here, £55 million. Again, not a lot of it was up front, but it's £55 million altogether. And I think just a solid left back. £140,000 a week. Again, it's a lot of money. And there's a sell on free profit percentage. Again, we don't need to worry about that because we're not going to be selling him. But I think he's going to be a very good option for us. Very good at crossing, decent at corners, very good at free kicks. He's just an overall really good player. I mean, it helps he's also a signing that Aston Villa have made in this current transfer window as I'm recording. Definitely endeared him to me, but I think he is a fantastic signing. I'm really happy we got this one done, actually. Okay. This one is not one we really needed to do. The main reason I did this one is because there was another club in for him. I think it was Spurs. I saw he was available. We paid £54 million for him. Full disclosure, we paid more than the other team that were in for him did to get him from Juventus. But, I mean, how do you turn down the option of signing Paulo Dybala? I will admit, at the time, I looked at the squad and thought he doesn't actually fit in anywhere, but we've kind of made it work with some of our tactical decisions. But he is in, and he just looks like a fantastic... I mean, just look at him. He looks absolutely fantastic. We are paying a pretty penny for him, £170,000 a week, which was less than what he wanted, but we did get him. We're paying him lots of money. Hopefully, he will deliver on that investment, basically. And then the final signing was an emergency right back. Dodo has come in. He's signed from, I think it was Shakhtar? It was Shakhtar, yeah. All Brazilians go to Shakhtar at some point. We've signed him on loan with an obligation to buy, I think it is. Yeah, mandatory future fee, £45 million. Again, not our problem. He was not our first choice. I forget who our first choice was. But it was proving to be very difficult. In the end, we decided, actually, we don't need a world superstar to come in. We need someone who can come in and do a job. And that's exactly what Dodo can do. Remember, we've got Hakimi as our starting right back. We've got him as our backup. But we do also have Rudiger, Marquinhos, Ramos. All of those guys can play there as well. So we're well covered in the fullback areas. All of which means we did spend an astronomical amount of money, £233 million. Now, not all of that was us, to be fair. £51 million of that was from Hakimi from Inter, and £13.75 million was Danilo Pereira from Porto. So those ones don't count as us. Also, a little bit of money here spent on this guy. I don't even know who he is. Yeah, we don't care about him. So all of that money doesn't count for us. So that realistically, that's just under 200 million. And yeah, we did spend a lot of money on these guys, but I think it's going to be money well spent. I think it actually helps balance the squad out quite a bit. In terms of outgoings, we didn't raise a lot of money, but we did shift some players out the door who were on big wages. Ander Herrera was the first to leave for £10 million. He has gone to Inter Milan. Good midfielder, but 31 years old. That was one of the things I wanted to do. Freshen the team up with a little bit more youth. Well, not necessarily youth, but a little less age is the best way I can phrase it. Reduce the average age of the squad. That's what I'm trying to do. And Herrera, really, I don't really like him as a player in this game, so I decided let's just get rid of him. £10 million. It was a bit of money, and we got him off the wage budget. We then moved on Kazawa. Not on a lot of wages per week. In fact, I think he's had a pay rise by leaving, but we didn't get much money for him. Only £3 million. But again, it was a little bit of money and a bit of wage budget freed up. Rafinha was next, £8 million. But again, it was more about the wage budget. He's gone there for £56,000 a week. I'll be interested to see how he does there, actually. Thilo Kehrer, we just didn't have room for him in the squad anymore after signing Rudiger. We've still got Sergio Ramos to come back from injury. It just seemed a bit silly to keep him around. So £3.4 million, a bit more money off the wage budget, made sense to us. Sergio Rico then went, our third choice goalkeeper. Now, I like Sergio Rico as a goalkeeper, actually. But honestly, this was mainly because we needed to make some money to sign Paulo Dybala. So, I think it was anyway. When did that transfer go through? 25th. Yeah, it was exactly for that. It was so we could make a bit more money, free up some wages so we could get Dybala through the door. And then Idrissa Gueye actually went to Manchester United. So we actually supplied both both Shakhtar and Gueye. I can't speak. We actually ended up supplying both Shakhtar and Manchester United with players after we took players from them. So I found that quite interesting, actually. So Idrissa Gueye went for £15 million. I can't speak. And again, more money off the wage budget, which that was more of a balancing agent. We did that just to balance the books a little bit more, get a bit of money back into the club. So if we look at our finances, we've got £9 million left in the bank. Now, granted, that isn't a lot of money, but it's money to do something with in January if we need to. And as you can see, we have got the best part of £140,000, I think that works out being. Let me have a quick nose here. £145,000 spare wage budget, which is delightful. All of which means this is the team that we are using. Yes, as I said before, we are not using wingers. We've gone with the diamonds. Now, I don't typically use diamonds. I've never really have. I mean, the closest I've got is an FM20. I used a ridiculously overpowered Barcelona team 20 years in the future with a 3-man attack, as in 3 strikers, and a 3-man midfield. That was the closest I ever got to using a diamond. But we've gone with this. It's done well in pre-season. Obviously, we've had a lot of players who are on holiday who've just come back. The likes of Di Maria, Paredes, Messi's just come back, Neymar's just come back, Verratti's just come back. Lots of players who have yet to actually feature for us regularly. So we don't completely know how this is going to work with our first 11, but if I quickly show you the pre-season schedule, we were unbeaten. We had some good results with some of the youngsters coming in as well. And then that first game against Lille, we did win 4-2. Is that a sign that our defence maybe isn't quite as good as we need it to be? I don't know. But then we have got players who are getting used to it. The left side of the defence was completely new. We weren't playing our strongest midfield, not even our strongest attack. Paulo Dybala is not going to be a regular starter for us, but he still scored 2 goals on his debut. Julian Draxler came on, didn't have a good performance. Martial had a respectable game. It's looking okay, and as you can see, we did have the likes of Lionel Messi and Mauro Icardi come back in this game, as well as Wijnaldum and Rudiger. Was Wijnaldum already playing? Wijnaldum was already playing, wasn't he? Yes, he was. So we've got the players back, and we've got the 11. So I think we can do some real damage with this team, and I think with the reserves we've got as well, and the fact that we've still got Juan Bernat to come back as another left-back option, who would probably end up replacing Nuno Mendes as the backup left-back. We could probably try and send Nuno Mendes back at the end of the first half of the season. And then we've got Sergio Ramos, who's going to be coming back in October as well. I think we've got a very good team, and I think that we stand a decent chance, not necessarily a good chance, but a decent chance of going deep into the Champions League, maybe even winning it. Obviously, that is the aim of the save, and I feel like we've built a squad. Maybe it's not the best team with the best players, although it's got some of the best players in the world in it, but it's got a good balance, and we've got cover of a reasonable ability in every position. Having players like Icardi and Martial as backup to Mbappe and Messi is ridiculous to me. Having Dybala as backup to Neymar, who will be the starter in that position as a trequartista, is nuts to me. The one question mark is on Angel Di Maria. Now, I remember when I said that we signed Dybala and we were like, what do we do with him? The only places he could really go were striker and the attacking midfield role. Looking at Angel Di Maria, when we were looking at training and things like that, if I quickly show you, I hope it's still on here, it does say here, as the player ages, he'll be more suited to life as a central midfielder. So I thought, well, Why don't we just do that straight away? So we've changed his training position to a Mazzala, and we're going to get him playing there. So he's only 2.5 star, but he's got the ability to do it. He has literally got the stats to do it. The only thing that worries me a little bit is just that obviously he's 33 years old. Training a player in a new position when they're older can be more difficult. But the crossing and the ability on the ball, they're not going to go to waste as Mazzala because he's going to drift out wide. He is going to be whipping the ball in still. So actually, I think it's a natural transition for a player of his age to be going to that position, and I think he'll do a good job there. The problem is we don't have an adequate player to play there if it doesn't work. So it's a bit of a gamble. It would be someone like Julian Draxler or Leandro Paredes who would be going in, or even Danilo Pereira. They're the players who would be going into that position if it doesn't work. So we're hoping it works. To be fair, Lionel Messi can probably play there. Messi can play there at a 3-star standard. So maybe we turn Lionel Messi into a Mazzala. I can imagine people's reactions if I do that. But that is the 11. And this is the schedule. As you can see, we've not had the Champions League draw just yet. But this is the league fixture. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to accelerate forward. When we get the Champions League draw, I will come back. And once we've had that, I'm going to play through the first 3 games of the Champions League draw. And we're going to see where we are. And then when we've done that, we'll get to the end of the group stage. And we'll see where we are. And then we'll end this episode here. And then the next episode, we'll start with the January transfer window. And then we'll come back as we get to each stage of the Champions League. And if we get to the final, you'll see the final. If we don't, well, you won't. See you in a minute. Okay, we've had the Champions League draw, and as you can see, it could have been a lot worse. We've ended up with Chelsea, Ajax, and Club Brugge. That is a winnable group. If not, it is a qualifiable group. If we have a look at the rest of the groups that came up as well, that's not what you wanted to click on, Stu. If we have a look at the rest of the groups that we've got as well, as you can see, that is quite a tough group for Manchester City, although you'd expect them to get through. Leipzig and Sevilla, I think, are going to be the ones who will struggle in that group. Bit of a group of death for Besiktas and Rangers in Group C. Group D, you would expect Barcelona and Inter to get through that one. Group E, again, you would say that's fairly straightforward. Man United and AC Milan, the favourites there, although Sporting with a chance, and Shakhtar probably going to be the whipping boys of that group. Group F, again, looks pretty straightforward for the winner, but I think that could be quite close for who qualifies alongside Liverpool. Group G, again, quite straightforward. I would say that is pretty much the order I'd expect those teams to finish in, actually. And Group H, again, fairly straightforward. No massive groups of death, actually. You can tell who's going to qualify from most of those groups. So, quite an interesting group stage, actually. But yeah, that's the Champions League draw. We are going to be having the first game against Chelsea, so that's going to be fun. So that's coming very, very soon. But what we will do is we'll play that game, the Ajax game, the Club Brugge game, and then we'll come back to you and let you know what's going on, and then I'll play the next 3 after that. So, see you in a moment. Also, I should just point out, if you've noticed, there's been a slight costume change, i.e. the t-shirt. I've recorded this over 3 separate days so far, so you're not going mad. I have been changing my outfit. It's because I've recorded this over 3 days, so just in case anyone was wondering. Probably no one was wondering. I've probably drawn attention to it. See you in a moment. And here we are after the first 3 Champions League games of the season. It is the 20th of October. We have just, we've literally just, in fact, played Club Brugge. I'll quickly show you the schedule and show you how we've been doing. Quick spoilers, we've been doing pretty well. As you can see, we've lost 1 game since the start of the season. Just the one. Annoyingly, it was in the Champions League. And it was quite unexpected as well. It was against Ajax in the second Champions League game. They were just better than us, quite frankly. It was the first game Keylor Navas had for a while. He had been injured. Whether that played a part in it, I don't know. Lucas Dignier as well has gone off the boil a little bit too. Yeah, a couple of average performances in there. But yeah, they just put another goal past us. So it is what it is. However, let's be completely honest, it's hard for us to say that we're disappointed with the running, because as you can see, we've been pretty fantastic. Focusing just on the Champions League for a moment, the first game was against Chelsea and we absolutely stuffed them 3-0. Mbappe and Neymar doing the work for us. Mbappe has been fantastic for us. Neymar has been out of the team quite a bit. He's picked up the odd niggle here and there, which has been a bit frustrating. So he kind of comes in, does well, goes back out again, which is frustrating. However, it does mean that Paulo Dybala does get some game time, which is obviously a good thing. We then had the aforementioned game against Ajax where we lost 3-2, but then we've just played Club Brugge, beat them 3-1, and that leaves the Champions League group looking like this. Currently, we're second behind Ajax. Chelsea at the moment going out of the Champions League at the group stage, so it's not as easy as maybe we would have suggested. It's certainly not taking the path we thought it would be. But we've got games against the teams at home. Oh, that was a sentence, wasn't it, Stuart? We've got 2 games at home to go. So you would like to think we're the favourites for both those, both against Club Brugge and against Ajax. You'd like to think we're the favourites of those. Win both of those, 112 points. I'd like to think we win those 2 games, we're through, and we've already proven we can beat Chelsea. So hopefully on the final day of the season, the final day of the group stage, not the season, we will be able to put Chelsea to the sword, or at least avoid losing, and hopefully we'll be through at that point. But I think we are in a strong position to go through. Club Brugge definitely are not going through. Chelsea at the moment not looking good either. So yeah, hopefully that's okay. Just to quickly show you the schedule as well. As you can see, we have just won every league game so far. Absolutely battering teams. 3-0, 4-0, a 5-1 there, a couple of 2-0s, a cheeky little 1-0 against Angers there, who did very, very well. Kim Pembe had to bail us out there. Sergio Ramos and Juan Bernat are both finally playing some football for us. We have, however, I don't know if I mentioned this, Lucas Dignier has really gone off the ball. He's picked up a little knock here as well, which is probably going to mean Bernat is going to get some more game time. The one frustration is Ramos is not registered in our Champions League squad, so he's back, picking up a yellow card there because Sergio Ramos doing Sergio Ramos things. But because he's not registered, obviously, he's very limited to just league games. We'll try and rectify that when we hit January. But what I'm now going to do is I'm going to go through to the end of the group stage, and I'm either going to bring you back immediately or I'm going to wait until the Champions League draw for the knockout rounds. I'm not 100% sure when that draw happens. If it happens right at the end of December like I think it does, I think I'll bring you back before that and we'll leave that as a bit of a cliffhanger. But yeah, wish me luck for the next 3 games. Also, I've got a really bad feeling that I didn't introduce you to this gentleman, Dani Olmo. We signed him on transfer deadline day, actually. He was the last signing to come in through the door. He's the signing we made when Julian Draxler left. Draxler has gone... Where did Draxler go? Draxler went to... I want to say it was like Napoli or something like that. It wasn't Napoli, it was Lazio, I think. Yeah, Lazio, there we go. Julian Draxler, that's the wrong thing, Stu. Julian Draxler went on loan to Lazio. I think the deal has got a option to buy or something along those lines. There's definitely something in here. So if they qualify for the Europa League, that's it. So if they manage to qualify for the Europa League, then £6 million comes to us, and that is a transfer fee. He will be going. So yeah, we do not have Julian Draxler anymore, but I think we've actually upgraded personally. We've gone for Dani Olmo, who's got a decent amount of potential. He's a very good player in his own right. We've brought him in from RB Leipzig. I had to really think about that then. And we do have the option to purchase him as well. It is a £44 million optional future fee, which is less than his minimum fee release clause. Again, not really our problem because we do not need to worry about the fact that we could buy him next season because we won't be here. We are paying a lot of money to get him in. If we play him once a month, we only have to pay 250k. That's my thing, which is what? A couple of million. It's not too bad for a player of his quality, to be honest with you. If we don't play him, so we need to make sure we play him every month and hope he doesn't get injured. So it is a bit of a gamble, but yeah, just thought I'd let you know that because I just thought kind of forgot to show you. With all of that said, I'll see you in a moment when I've played those Champions League games. And play those Champions League games we have, and it's probably come as no surprise to you that we have qualified for the Champions League knockout round. We have, however, seen Chelsea, the defending champions, knocked out. They are now in the Europa League. Ajax actually beat them to the punch. Our loss kind of condemned Chelsea to their fate, and yeah, no defending champions in Europe anymore. They are out. Club Brugge were the whipping boys of the group as well. The results were pretty much what you'd probably expect. We won all 3 games since the last time you were with us. 4-0 against Club Brugge at home. Ajax, we got our revenge on them 4-1 at home, and then we went to Stamford Bridge and repeated the same result against Chelsea. Kylian Mbappe with 2, and I think it was Kimpembe who got 1 as well. Kylian Mbappe, one of the top goal scorers in the league. Lionel Messi and Neymar, 2 of the best players in the... I said league then, didn't I? In the Champions League, you know what I mean. But they're 2 of the best players as well, as you would probably expect. If we have a quick nose at the other groups as well, just to see who are going to be joining us, it's Man City and Sevilla, Leipzig dropping to Europa League, Madrid and Bayern Munich, you would have expected that from that group, Besiktas getting into the Europa League, Inter and Benfica, the next teams, with Barcelona falling into the Europa League. That's huge. I know they're having rough times, but that is still nuts to me. Absolutely nuts. So no... Champions League knockouts for Barcelona. Man United and AC Milan going through, again, as you'd expect. Sporting not even getting into the Europa League. It's Shakhtar who take that place. It's all those bloody Brazilians they've got. Liverpool getting through, and it's Wolfsburg who went through from themselves, Porto and Lille. Lille not having the best season in France as well, so bit of a surprise. Not much of a surprise, actually, to see them bottoming the group. Juventus and Villarreal going through in Group G, which is not necessarily a surprise to me. I would have probably said Villarreal would have been the team, but I thought it would have been a bit closer than that between them and Zenit, if I'm being honest with you. And then the final group sees Borussia Dortmund drop out of the Champions League. Atalanta topping the group, with Atletico Madrid only finishing second. Only by a point, though, so it is what it is. But that's the group stage. In terms of how the rest of the games that we've played have gone in the league, gone very well. Moving on. No, we'll have a quick look at these games. As you can see, when were we back with you? We were around the first Club Brugge game, wasn't it? So it's around here. So as you can see, this run here has been, if I click on that and just highlight it, this run here has been pretty exceptional. It has to be said. We've lost 1 game, however. We do have to point that out. Saint-Etienne, 4th place Saint-Etienne beating us, which was a little bit frustrating. Lucas Dignier got sent off, Angel Dimir with an injury, and Riyad Aboudabu's penalty, putting us to the sword. We then did respond by destroying Nice 8-1, which was glorious. Lionel Messi with 4 goals, because it's Lionel Messi, and that's what he does. But yeah, we've been very, very good, and if we have a look at the league table, as you can see, top of the table, 16 wins, 1 loss, 54 goals, positive in our goal difference, and 48 points on the board, 9 points ahead of Monaco, which is pretty insane to me. Lionel Messi, 17 games, 20 goals. The man's a god. Kylian Mbappe doing pretty well as well. 3 of our players being the best 3 players in the league. Messi, Mbappe, and between them, Dybala, who hasn't started every game, but when he has started, he has been exceptional. So we have got some real quality and depth in those attacking options just by having Dybala there. Both Messi and Dybala on the assist chart. Messi getting 10 assists as well with his 20 goals. 30 goal contributions in 17 games. What more is there to say about that? That's how we've got a plus goal difference of 54. And player of the match, Lionel Messi, he's got 5 of those awards, and Donnarumma is leading the clean sheets as well, which you would expect. Right, that is going to be the end of this first part of this series. We will be back in the next part, starting at the 1st of January, and we'll be having a look at transfers. I've got an idea of what I want to do, but I'm going to keep that under wraps just until we get to that point. But yeah, we'll go through the squad in a bit more detail in that episode as well, and just how well it has been doing. But we are going to wrap things up in this episode, and we'll be back next time to continue the Champions League journey in One and Done. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do leave a like. Feel free to comment and let me know what you think of the series so far. And do not forget to subscribe to keep up to date with all of the Football Manager goodness on the channel. I've been StuBo. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.